Hello, and welcome back to the Untitled podcast, and also welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope all is well, and I hope you had a very good Saturday evening or Sunday morning whenever you're watching this. And yeah, let's get right into today's topics for the podcast. The first thing that I would like to talk about would be the MLB WILDCARD game. So let me pull up the games from today. First game that we're going to talk about, let's talk about the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Definitely a very, very big offensive game, with the score being 10-9 for the Seattle Mariners. Also, this means the Seattle Mariners are advancing, and they will be versing the Houston Astros, which will definitely be a fun series if the Mariners keep up what they're doing. If their pitching staff keeps pitching the way they keep pitching, that could be a very good series for them. Looking at the stats, some notable players. Cal Raleigh, he's been on fire for the past couple weeks after he hit that home run to get them into the postseason. He had a home run in the last game of the wild card series between the Blue Jays, and today he had a 3-hit game. He had an RBI. He had a walk and 4 at-bats. Very good game from him. Adam Frazier had 3 hits and 1 RBI. Carlos Santana at the DH position ended up getting 2 hits with 3 RBI. So good game from him, especially since he's been a little quiet as of recently. You definitely don't see a lot of big games coming out from him. Eugenio Suarez had 2 hits, and yeah, that was pretty much it. Robbie Ray did take the mound for today. Definitely did not have the best pitching performance, but he got the job done. He went 3 innings, allowing 6 hits, 4 earned runs, and getting 4 strikeouts. Definitely would like to see better from your starter, but what are you gonna do? Baseball is a team game, and his team definitely picked him up after a bad start. They went through about 9 pitchers, one of them being George Kirby, which I'm pretty sure is one of their starters. I do not know if they're using him in the bullpen for the whole postseason, but you definitely don't like to see that many arms being used right before a big series against the Astros. Robbie Ray ended up giving 4 runs. Paul Sewald ended up giving 4 runs, and he only pitched for two-thirds, allowing 3 hits, only getting 1 strikeout, allowing 2 walks. Yeah, so pretty good game, I guess. Definitely fun to see the Mariners getting as far as they are. And let's talk about the Blue Jays. Looking at the Blue Jays, some notable players would be Danny Jensen, getting 3 hits with 2 RBI. Teoscar Hernandez getting 2 hits with 4 RBI. Vladimir Guerrero had a hit, also driving in 1 RBI. And also Matt Chapman had a hit with 1 RBI. But obviously, as we now know, that this was not enough for the Toronto Blue Jays to win this series. I definitely wouldn't call this a disappointing season, especially considering that they did not make the playoffs last season. So, and it's also interesting to think about how, I consider their team getting worse than last year when they had Marcus Semien. Vlad Guerrero Jr. was playing a lot better. I think those are the 2 notable things I'm really thinking of off the top of my head. Yeah. Oh, also, Jose Barrios was a lot better when they traded for him last year. This year he's been horrible. Yeah, definitely disappointing for Blue Jays fans, but you always got next year. We could look at the pitching. Kevin Gausman had a good outing, ended up going for 5 2/3, allowing 5 hits, 4 runs, 7 strikeouts, so he definitely ate up some innings. And Anthony Bass ended up pitching, but not recording an out. He let up 3 runs and 3 earned runs, so that's definitely not something you like to see. I'm also pretty sure they traded for him with the Marlins, and I'm pretty sure they ended up giving Jordan Grosjean, so it kind of sucks to see them biting them in the behind there. Jordan Romano going 1 2/3, allowing 4 hits and 2 earned runs, getting 4 strikeouts. Yeah, definitely this. To be honest, I don't really know what this team has to do to get better. I don't know if maybe they should trade away some pieces and try to rebuild a little bit. Maybe keep your key guys like Vlad Guerrero, Bo Bichette. Maybe you look towards getting rid of George Springer. You look towards getting rid of guys on that roster who aren't really doing anything, like Jackie Bradley Jr., Raimel Tampa, even though he's a good fielder. But, I mean, I feel like all the outfielders that they use currently are pretty good fielders, so that kind of defeats the purpose. Who else? Maybe they could trade Danny Jensen or Alejandro Kirk for a nice trade piece for their rotation or bullpen, maybe. And you never know. They could do a couple different things, or they could just stay the same. It's not my team, so I do not know. And let's talk about our next game, which would be, let's talk about the Padres and the Mets. Very good game from the Mets. Very big offensive game from the Mets. A very needed win from the Mets. Also a very good start from Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom ended up going 6 innings, allowing 5 hits, 2 earned runs with 8 strikeouts. Very, very good. Edwin Diaz then came in relief, and he went through 1 2/3, allowing a hit and a walk, and he had a strikeout. Adam Ottavino had 1 inning pitched with 1 earned run, but also getting 2 strikeouts, and Seth Lugo ended up coming in and getting that final out. Some notable players on the Mets. Brandon Nimmo had a 3-hit day with 1 RBI and 4 at-bats. Very good from him. Francisco Lindor had 2 hits with 1 RBI, and I'm pretty sure he had a home run in the first inning. Pete Alonso had 1 hit. Also, I'm pretty sure that was a home run. Jeff McNeil had a pretty big single, and I think it was the 7th inning, driving in 2 RBI. Eduardo Escobar continuing his hot streak, getting a hit, also adding an RBI. And yeah, everybody else didn't really do anything. I guess we could look at the Padres, some notable players in the Padres. Juan Soto had 2 hits after slumping for a while, so that's good to see from him. Jerickson Profar had an RBI and 1 hit. Trent Grisham had a hit and an RBI. I'm pretty sure that he had a home run in this game. And let's look at the Padres pitching. Blake Snell ended up going 3 1/3, allowing 4 hits and 2 earned runs, allowing 6 walks and 5 strikeouts. It seemed like he had a very hard time controlling his pitch repertoire tonight. Nick Martinez ended up going for 2 2/3, allowing 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 1 hit. I've never heard of this guy, and I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Nah, you know what? I'll try to pronounce his name. Adrian Morjon ended up coming in for relief, not recording it out, but giving up 4 earned runs, 2 walks, and 2 hits. So that's definitely the killer there. And yeah, this will end up going into a Game 3 to decide who wins the wild card series. My prediction is still the Mets. I know that's a little biased, but I don't care. The Mets are going to win. So, sorry, Padre fans, but the Mets will be winning this series. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me in the ass. Let's talk about the Phillies and the Cardinals. The Phillies ended up getting the win over the Cardinals, and they ended up beating the Cardinals and sending them home. Now, this was the Machine's last game. He is now officially retired. He had a great career. I'm also pretty sure in his last career at bat, he ended up with a single. So a very nice way to end his career, and I salute you, Albert Pujols. Let's look at some notable players from the Philadelphia Phillies. Bryce Harper, playing at the DH tonight, had 2 hits, 1 RBI. Good for him. Kyle Schwarber had an RBI, but recorded no hits. So don't know what that's about. Alec Boehm had 1 hit and 2 walks. Brandon Marsh had a hit, and Bryson Stott had a walk. Aaron Nola is definitely the player of the game for the Phillies, going 6 2/3, allowing 4 hits, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. Very good game from him. And the relief actually was pretty good for the Phillies, which is something you don't hear very often. Jose Alvarado, Sir Anthony Dominguez, and Zach Eflin covered. Aaron Nola did not give up any earned runs. only giving up 3 hits between those 3 pitchers, with Alvarado not giving up a hit and only 2/3 inning pitched. So yeah, definitely a very, very good game from the Phillies. It seems like they're on a hot streak. And I'm pretty sure that they are now going to play the Atlanta Braves, which should be interesting because it seems that the Philadelphia Phillies are very hot right now, but besides the series against the Mets that they swept to win the division series at the end of September, they did lose 2 games against the Marlins. And I don't know if that's just because they weren't pitching their best guys or if they were resting some of their guys. I know they were doing those things, but maybe that will play into effect. We have to see how the games are played, obviously. But yeah, it should definitely be a fun series to watch. And let's look at the Cardinals. Some notable players. Albert Pujols, playing in the DH position for tonight, had 2 hits in his last career game, so very good game from him in his last career game. Lars Nootbaar had a hit and a walk. Yohan Yepes had a hit. Corey Dickerson had 2 hits, and Yadier Molina had 1 hit, which is probably going to be his last game too. I'm pretty sure that trio of Yadier Molina, Adam Wainwright, and Albert Pujols will probably be retiring. So it's nice to see Yadier Molina also getting a hit in probably what is his last game. And then for the pitching, Miles Michaelis ended up going for 4 1/3, allowing 2 hits and 2 earned runs with 3 strikeouts. So definitely not a bad outing. The offense just wasn't there for the Cardinals tonight. Jordan Montgomery, Giovanni Gallegos, and Jordan Hicks came into relief, not allowing a run for a combined pitch total of 4 2/3 innings, also combining for 4 strikeouts and 4 walks with 0 earned runs. Jordan Montgomery, Giovanni Gallegos, and Jordan Hicks, all obviously very good relievers. It just sucks to see how the offense did not really seem to carry the pitching in this series. And yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow for Cardinals fans. Not only did you lose that series, but you're losing a couple legends on that team too. So that my heart is definitely out there for Cardinals fans. And we could talk about the Guardians and the Rays. This was an interesting game because this actually went 15 innings. Definitely, if you're more of a fan of actually seeing the ball hit and not seeing a pitching duel, this isn't the game for you. This ended in a 1-0 score with the Guardians winning in the bottom of the 15th inning. And let's look at some notable players. Wander Franco had a hit in 5 at-bats. Randy Arozarena had a hit in 5 at-bats. Vidal Brujan had a hit in 2 at-bats. Isaac Paredes had a hit in 2 at-bats. Taylor Walls had 1 hit. And Manuel Margot had 1 hit in 5 at-bats. The pitching for the Rays was very, very good. The pitching staff only allowed 1 earned run, but obviously that was the 1 run that ultimately decided the game. Tyler Glasnow went 5 innings in allowing 2 hits and getting 5 strikeouts. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pitchers came into relief. Them being Peter Fairbanks, Jason Adams, Drew Rasmussen, Garrett Clevenger, Sean Armstrong, Brooks Raley, and Corey Kluber would ultimately end up giving up that 1 earned run in the bottom of the 15th inning. Definitely a tough pill to swallow for Rays fans. You definitely wanted to see your offense produce more. I'm pretty sure in this entire series, the Rays have not scored a run. I'm definitely going to check up on that. Let me just make sure. They scored 1 run in the game before. Okay, so they scored 1 run in 2 games. You can't win any games like that. You can't. You got to score runs to win baseball games. That's one problem that the Mets always have. They tend to rely on their starting pitching and their bullpen when the offense is not producing. And you just can't do that. But the Rays did this to a real extreme. The Rays really need to go out and get 1 big power bat in that lineup. They need 1 bat that could just really get on, someone who can get on base, someone who could drive in runs. Definitely disappointing to see. And yeah, that's all the wildcard games. Let's see. I did want to give my predictions for the NFL Week 5. First game, Giants-Packers. I got the Packers in London. Why? Because I don't think the Giants are as good as the Packers. Patriots and Lions. The Lions will be winning this game, especially with Mac Jones being out. I'm pretty sure he's still out. I might be wrong about that, but I do not want to check. Chargers and Browns. I got the Chargers. Jaguars and Texans. I got the Jaguars. Buccaneers and Falcons. I got the Buccaneers. Steelers and Bills. I got the Bills. Dolphins and Jets. I got the Dolphins. Bears and Vikings. I have the Vikings. Titans and Commanders. I actually have the Washington Commanders. Seahawks and Saints. I have the... Oh, that's a tough one. Well, I know Jameis Winston is still out, and I'm pretty sure Andy Dalton is starting, which isn't the worst case scenario. Geno Smith has been pretty good for the Seahawks. They seem to put up a lot of points. This is a toss-up. I'm just going to say the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are going to beat the Saints. The 49ers are going to beat the Panthers. The Eagles will stay undefeated, and they will beat the Cardinals. The LA Rams will bounce back from their loss against the 49ers, and they will beat the Cowboys. The Ravens will beat the Bengals. I really do see Lamar Jackson having a big game in that game also. So if you're into fantasy, I would definitely put him in. And our Monday primetime game is the Raiders versus the Chiefs. This is definitely a predictable game. I could definitely see the Chiefs winning, but if the Raiders end up having a very strong offense, which they haven't had this season yet, they really need to get Devontae Adams the ball. Hunter Renfrow, Josh Jacobs had a pretty big game last week, getting 2 touchdowns. They just need to get that offense rolling, and I think they would be able to outscore the Chiefs, if anything. I think Patrick Mahomes' only weapon that he really has right now is Travis Kelce. But my prediction is still going to be the Chiefs. And yeah, those are my predictions for the NFL Week 5. I will watch this video back and see which teams I actually predicted, and for tomorrow's podcast episode, or actually on Monday's podcast episode, I will go ahead and see what my record was. And the last thing I would like to talk about today, which actually just happened, so I'm kind of giving my raw reactions to this pay-per-view, is premium live event, is WWE Extreme Rules. I'm just going to go through the card, and then obviously I'm going to talk about the big surprise at the end of the show. I'm just going to talk about the matches, but I guess I could talk about The Miz and Dexter Lumis. It was a funny segment. I mean, there's really nothing else to say. The Miz wanted to talk to Triple H for his birthday, do something for his birthday, whatever. And the Philadelphia Flyers mascot kept following him. The Miz did not like that. The Miz beat him up. Dexter Lumis came. He choked Miz out, and then, haha, funny, whatever. I don't really see where that storyline is going between Lumis and The Miz. I think something that could be really cool, which I thought was going to happen. I thought maybe Dexter Lumis would be involved with Bray Wyatt somehow. I feel like that could be really cool and interesting. I feel like Bray Wyatt is creative enough to find a way to integrate Dexter Lumis into his promos and storylines and things like that. Especially when he started his career, he was in a faction called the Wyatt family, so it's not like he hasn't worked in groups or pairs before. Okay, and let's talk about the pre-show. I will say I did not watch the pre-show, so I did not get to see the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium. I did think that the Brawling Brutes were going to beat Imperium, and they did. The Brawling Brutes did end up pinning Imperium. On the website, on CBS WWE, they ended up giving the match a grade -A, or A-, whatever you want to say. So I guess it was a very, very good match. I've seen a couple videos of Sheamus throwing Gunther through a table, which looked pretty cool. My only thing is I don't know where the storyline is going to go. I don't know if it's over. I don't know if there's something else going on. It's I would think that this storyline is over at this point. Now we could talk about the SmackDown Women's Championship Extreme Rules match between Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey. I did predict that Liv Morgan was going to win this, and Ronda Rousey won. Definitely an interesting match. It kind of feels like Triple H kind of kicked us in the nuts with having Liv Morgan cash in that title on Ronda. It definitely feels a little pointless because I did not like this storyline with Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey at all. This whole arc that they went through. First, Liv Morgan had the cash in, which is already a fluke win, but it's whatever because it's a money in the bank cash in. It's supposed to be fluky, so I didn't really have any problems with that. But then they actually fought for the first time, I think, at Crown Jewel. I think that was their first pay-per-view match. No. She fought Shayna Baszler at Crown Jewel. I can't remember the name of the pay-per-view, but the first time they fought for the title, Liv Morgan won in a very fluky way. She tapped out to an armbar, but she pinned Ronda before she actually tapped, whatever. Fluky win. And then they kind of were building Liv Morgan more and more to make us think that she could beat Ronda Rousey. And they were also building Ronda to make her look more and more powerful. Obviously. But I think that would have been a pretty big moment to have Liv Morgan get over Ronda Rousey in this scenario. Now, obviously, I do understand once Liv Morgan does go over Ronda in this case, Ronda Rousey's credibility tends to go down, but it's an Extreme Rules match. I mean, there's so many different things that you could have done to protect her credibility. I think one big thing that could have happened is that they could have turned Liv Morgan heel, and maybe she could have done something illegal, or she could have had someone help her. I know, well, illegal in the sense of that she's a face, and because in a Extreme Rules match you could do whatever you want, but yeah, the match was very good. That table spot toward the end of the match was pretty cool, with Liv Morgan jumping through the table with Ronda on top of it. I thought the ending was a little weird. They kind of just had her in a submission, and then she kind of tried to get out of it, and then she got her back into it, and then she passed out, but she was laughing while she was passed out, so it looked weird. I don't know. I will say though, Ronda Rousey is also a very good heel, because the crowd did not like her whatsoever. The next match on the card was between Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross in a strap match. Definitely a pretty good strap match in my opinion. Obviously, there's not a lot you could do, but I thought that what they did was pretty cool. Karrion Kross ended up using the strap to his advantage by hurting Drew McIntyre's shoulder that he injured on Friday Night SmackDown. And then the big part about this match was at the end, where Karrion Kross was down. Drew McIntyre was about to hit his Claymore. He was counting it down, 3, 2, 1. But then Scarlett came in the way and I guess sprayed him with mace or some sort of spray that got into his eyes. And then he kind of fell down, and he was in agony with his eyes. Oh my God, my eyes. And Karrion Kross ended up taking advantage and winning by pinfall. Excuse me. Yeah, I would definitely say, though, it was the weakest match of the night, but still a very, very, very good match. Raw Women's Championship between Bianca Belair and Bayley. It was a ladder match, first one in women's history, believe it or not. And I really thought Bayley was going to beat Bianca Belair, but they're kind of giving Bianca Belair the John Cena treatment. They're giving her the Superman-esque type of treatment. I'm pretty sure during the match, Damage Control ended up coming out, and she was able to defeat Dakota Kai and Io Sky pretty easily. That they weren't really a factor in this match at all. And then there's a couple weird things, right before she went to go get that title, she ended up giving Bayley a KOD, but Bayley tried to get the ladder to hit Bianca with it, but she kind of just held the ladder, and Bianca held Bayley for a long time while she was holding the ladder. So I feel at that point you just should have dropped the ladder and taken the regular KOD. What do I know? I'm not a wrestler. Obviously, I know you got to follow a script and you got a plan or whatever, but I feel like things have to change on the move. Maybe they could have just slammed her. Bailey could have like tripped her or whatever, and then tried to do it again, and they could have just restarted the move. But yeah, Bianca Belair retained. It was a pretty good match. Nothing special though. Edge versus Finn Balor in an I Quit match. Definitely an interesting match. Almost was treated like a false count anywhere match. They ended up going through a couple. They ended up going to a couple different places in the arena. Edge ended up using a bunch of different weapons. Like he had a hockey stick at one point, I think, that he was hitting Balor with, and that he also used to choke him with. But the big part about this match was the end of the match. Finn Balor was really hammering down on Edge, and then Rey Mysterio came out to help Edge, and then the Judgment Day came, and then the Judgment Day beat up Rey Mysterio, and then Beth Phoenix came out, and then Beth Phoenix came and beat everybody up on the Judgment Day, and then it looked like Edge was going to win the match for a little bit. But then, right while he had Finn Balor in a submission hold, Rhea Ripley actually knocked out Beth Phoenix, and the Judgment Day ended up taking advantage of Beth Phoenix and Edge at the same time, and they ultimately made Edge say, "I quit," in due diligence to Beth Phoenix safety, because of what's it called, Rhea Ripley was trying to hit her over the head with the chair, and Edge obviously doesn't want that to happen, so he said, "I quit." Very, very good match. I would probably say it's the best match of the night. Very, very good I Quit match. And then the main event was between Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins in the Fight Pit with special guest referee Daniel Cormier. I definitely thought that Daniel Cormier was going to have a bigger role in this match. I thought maybe he would have turned face or turned heel depending on how the match went. I know Seth Rollins was talking a lot of smack to him during the match, saying like, "I'm gonna choke you out, like you better get out my face, you better count right now, blah 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 blah." And I really thought eventually Daniel Cormier was going to snap and kind of go off on Seth Rollins. But I think what happened was there was one spot where Riddle jumped off the top of the cage of the Fight Pit onto the mat on top of Seth Rollins, and he kind of fell a little weird, and I don't know if he injured his lower back or something, but he hit the mat, and then he kind of just sat there, and he just started screaming, like really, really loudly for a good minute, I would say. And then after that, they laid on the ground for a little while. They both got up. Riddle put Seth Rollins into a submission, and ultimately got him to tap out. Definitely a weird way to end the match. I did not like the end of the match. For this type of storyline, I felt like something more aggressive should have happened. I feel like this is a match that, I don't know, I just feel like something more intense needed to happen. They were talking about how personal this rivalry was, and that ending didn't really feel personal. So, yeah. But still a very, very good pay-per-view. I do appreciate all the Extreme Rules matches that Triple H did incorporate, instead of just having one actual Extreme Rules match. But that being said, let's talk about the White Rabbit being unveiled. If you don't know, the White Rabbit has been teased for about a month and a half now, with QR codes and different type of messages on Raw and SmackDown, and we finally got the White Rabbit. So Matt Riddle and Daniel Cormier were at the end of the ramp. They were saying goodbye to the fans, whatever, and then the lights shut off. And then a bunch of videos started playing. And then in the crowd, you would see like a pig, and you would see a buzzard, and you would see Bray Wyatt's old mask of the Fiend, and you would see this dead witch or whatever that was in the Firefly Funhouse. And then it cuts to a door, and there's smoke coming out of the door. There's a big light on the door, and then ultimately the door opens, and we see a lantern. And obviously at that point, if you don't know it's Bray Wyatt, then you obviously don't know who Bray Wyatt is. But the crowd was going insane. At one point they started chanting "Holy shit." It was very, very cool. And I don't know if the mask that he had on right before he took it off to unveil he was Bray Wyatt or whatever, is going to be like a new persona or something. But yeah, the unveiling was definitely very, very well done. It seems like he's back. It seems like he's ready to wrestle. It seems like he's not really going to be playing a character. It seems like he's actually Bray Wyatt and not the Fiend or anybody else. He's Bray Wyatt, which is very, very cool. Brings us back to like the 2015, 2014 days when he was in the Wyatt family. So definitely, definitely really, really cool. And yeah, that was my instant reactions of WWE Extreme Rules. Definitely a pretty good pay-per-view for a B-list pay-per-view. And that's going to be it for today's episode. Definitely took a lot longer than I thought I was going to take. Thank you for listening if you are listening still. Um, if you are not subscribed, please subscribe and like this video. And also, while you're at it, share this to a friend and tell them how cool I am. Or, if you think I'm dumb, show them how dumb I am with the takes that I'm saying. Yeah, I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you have a great Sunday NFL football watch party or whatever people do. I personally don't do that, but I don't understand how people can watch football all day. I just can't do that. But I know a lot of people like to do it. So if you are going to do it, I hope you have fun. Please be safe. Please, yep, just please be safe. Please. I'm running out of things to say. Okay, please subscribe, like the video, share it with a friend. I'll see you tomorrow, and have a good day.